The new Avante!
I am not home.
Then is it okay if I wait?
Would you shut the hell up?
Are you talking to me?
No, I'm yelling at you.
Television shows are normally seen to conform to trends and promote certain popular ideologies that are popular within the time they exist. But there have been few that dared the status quo, and there is no better example than Married with Children, which painted a non-conventional picture of family. Despite the fact that many accepted the show because it didn't shy away from painting reality as it is, some people saw their activities as being a bit extreme, which almost took the show out in its third season. Come with us as we explore the controversy that almost ended Married with Children. Married with Children is a seminal American sitcom that aired its first episode on April 5, 1987. It was a pivotal show in the landscape of American television, marking a significant departure from the more wholesome, family-oriented sitcoms of its time. The show was broadcast on the Fox network, which was itself a new player in the television market, having launched just a year earlier in 1986. Fox aimed to establish itself as a bold and edgy alternative to the big three networks at the time, which included ABC, CBS, and NBC, and Married with Children was at the very center of that strategy. The show debuted on Fox, with its premiere episode airing on April 5, 1987. This timing was strategic, as it coincided with Fox's efforts to carve out a niche as a fourth network that could offer programming different from the traditional fare seen on ABC, CBS, and NBC. Fox's programming strategy was to appeal to a younger, more irreverent audience that was underserved by the other networks. Married with Children was a perfect fit with this vision, considering its subversive humor and unconventional approach to family dynamics. The show centers on the Bundy family, a dysfunctional and unapologetically crass suburban Chicago household. The family consists of Al Bundy, a disgruntled women's shoe salesman whose life peaked in high school when he scored 4 touchdowns in a single football game. Al is characterized by his sarcastic wit, misogynistic attitude, and a profound sense of dissatisfaction with his lot in life. On the other side is Peggy Bundy, Al's lazy, shopping-obsessed wife who avoids housework and relishes in Al's misery. Peggy's lack of culinary skills and domestic inclination is a recurring joke. There is also Kelly Bundy, the dim-witted and promiscuous daughter whose lack of intelligence is a source of humor. The last of the Bundys was Bud, his sexually frustrated and socially awkward son who fancies himself a ladies' man. The show's content was groundbreaking and controversial for its time, primarily due to its stark contrast with the idealistic family portrayals common in other sitcoms of the era. It was irreverent, often crude, and unafraid to tackle taboo subjects with humor. Episodes frequently revolved around themes of marital discord, teenage rebellion, and the daily grind of low-income existence, portrayed with a comedic twist. Married with Children employed a brand of humor that was heavily reliant on satire, slapstick, and sharp one-liners. The characters often engaged in biting banter, and many jokes were at the expense of traditional family values and societal norms. Al Bundy's perpetual discontent and sarcastic commentary provided much of the show's humor, while Peggy's negligence as a housewife and mother played against the traditional depiction of the nurturing, homemaking spouse. The show's visual style also complemented its humor, with a set that reflected Bundy's lower-middle-class status. You could see the living room with its drab couch, the modest kitchen, and Al's beloved but decrepit Dodge. The initial reception to Married with Children was mixed. Critics were divided, with some praising its boldness and others condemning it for what they saw as vulgarity and crudeness. However, it quickly found a dedicated audience that appreciated its countercultural stance and irreverent humor. But a huge surprise that changed everything was ahead. Key to its early success was its strategic placement on Fox's schedule and the network's willingness to promote the show aggressively. Fox targeted younger viewers who were looking for something different from the traditional fare offered by the other networks. This demographic was more receptive to the show's edgy content and became its core fan base. The show's rise in popularity was also helped by word of mouth and media attention. Its controversial nature sparked conversations and debates, drawing in curious viewers. Moreover, its characters, particularly Al Bundy, became iconic. Al's complaints about his miserable life and his crude humor resonated with many viewers who saw in him a reflection of their own frustrations. Married with Children became one of Fox's longest-running live-action sitcoms, lasting 11 seasons with a total of 259 episodes. Its success helped solidify Fox as a legitimate competitor to the established networks and paved the way for future edgy and unconventional programming on the network, including shows like The Simpsons and In Living Color. The show's legacy is still debated. It is credited with pushing the boundaries of what was acceptable in television comedy, influencing the genre with its unapologetic take on family life and its willingness to tackle uncomfortable subjects. Its impact can be seen in numerous subsequent sitcoms that adopted a more cynical and satirical tone. Moreover, the show's characters, particularly Al and Peggy Bundy, have become cultural icons. Al's disgruntled demeanor and Peggy's flamboyant outfits are instantly recognizable, and their dynamic has been referenced and parodied in various media. The show quickly distinguished itself with its subversive humor and irreverent take on the American family sitcom. Despite initial mixed reviews, it garnered a dedicated following and played a crucial role in establishing Fox as a major network. Its impact on television comedy is enduring, having paved the way for more daring and unconventional shows in the years that followed. However, this success came at a price. The controversy surrounding Married with Children reached a significant peak during its third season, which aired in 1989. This season is notable for sparking a high-profile complaint from a viewer named Terry Raccolta. Raccolta's crusade against the show not only brought massive media attention, but also significantly influenced the conversation around television content and standards. Terry Raccolta, a housewife from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, had tuned into the third season of Married with Children and was appalled by what she saw. The specific episode that ignited her campaign was titled Her Cups Runneth Over, which aired on January 15, 1989. This episode, along with others from the season, featured content that Raccolta deemed highly inappropriate for television, particularly during a time slot accessible to children. Her Cups Runneth Over contained several scenes that Raccolta found objectionable. In this episode, Al Bundy goes on a quest to find a replacement for his wife Peggy's favorite bra. Al's search leads him to a lingerie store, where he encounters scantily clad mannequins and racy dialogue. The scenes that were particularly contentious included the lingerie store scenes, which showed women in revealing lingerie, and the dialogue included explicit references to women's bodies and undergarments. The episode was also rife with sexual innuendos and jokes that were more explicit than typical primetime fare at the time. The explicit sexual content and humor crossed lines that Terry considered appropriate for broadcast television. Terry Raccolta's response to these episodes was swift and determined. Believing that Married with Children was not suitable for family viewing and was degrading to societal morals, she took steps to ensure her concerns were heard. Raccolta began by writing letters and making phone calls to the show's sponsors, urging them to withdraw their advertising support. She believed that by targeting the advertisers, she could hit the network where it hurt most, which was its revenue. She automatically became a one-man army. Raccolta's campaign quickly garnered media attention. She appeared on various talk shows and news programs to voice her objections. Her articulate and passionate stance resonated with many viewers and brought national attention to the show's content. She threatened a boycott against the companies that advertised during Married with Children and quickly rallied support from like-minded individuals and family advocacy groups, creating a significant pressure campaign on the advertisers. Raccolta's efforts had a substantial impact, both immediately and in the long term. Firstly, several major advertisers, including McDonald's and Coca-Cola, pulled their ads from the show, leading to a temporary financial hit for the network. The withdrawal of sponsorship was a direct response to the potential negative publicity generated by Raccolta's campaign. However, ironically, the controversy had the unintended effect of boosting the show's ratings. The media coverage and public debate drew curious viewers who wanted to see what the fuss was about. This phenomenon, often referred to as the Streisand effect, highlighted how attempts to suppress content can sometimes amplify interest in it. While Married with Children continued to push boundaries, the controversy led the producers to be more mindful of the explicitness of their content. Fox and the show's creators had to balance their desire to maintain the show's edgy appeal with the need to avoid further advertiser boycotts. The Rakolta incident is often cited as a pivotal moment in the ongoing debate about television content, censorship, and viewer responsibility. It underscored the power of grassroots movements to influence media and brought to the forefront discussions about what constitutes appropriate content for different times of the day. The Terry Rakolta incident is remembered not just as a footnote in the history of Married with Children, but as a significant case study in media studies and communications. It raised important questions about. For Fox, the controversy reinforced the idea that their strategy of pushing boundaries and courting controversy could be a double-edged sword. They almost lost the show that they most treasured to it. While it brought attention and viewers, it also brought scrutiny and potential financial repercussions. This duality would influence Fox's approach to programming for years to come. The incident brought renewed attention to the role of the FCC in regulating broadcast content. It highlighted the challenges of balancing free speech with community standards of decency, a debate that continues to evolve with changing societal norms and the advent of new media platforms. While some thought that Terry could have just switched channels, Terry remained of the opinion that they censor their content. The Rakolta case is also a reflection of the evolving standards of what is considered acceptable on television. What was controversial in the late 1980s might be seen as less so today, as societal norms and attitudes towards explicit content have shifted. The incident is a reminder of the fluid nature of cultural standards and the ongoing negotiation between creators, audiences, and regulators. Terry Rakolta's campaign against Married with Children during its third season is a fascinating chapter in television history. Her efforts to have the show pulled off the air were driven by her belief that it was degrading to societal morals and inappropriate for family viewing. Through a well-organized and passionate campaign, Rakolta was able to withdraw significant advertising support from the show and bring national attention to the issues of television content and viewer responsibility. While her campaign ultimately did not lead to the show's cancellation, it did have a lasting impact on how television content is produced, advertised, and consumed. Moreover, it sparked important conversations about the balance between creative freedom and societal responsibility, conversations that continue to resonate in today's media environment. What's known today as the lost episode of Married with Children, titled "I'll See You in Court," is a notable chapter in the show's history, reflecting the heightened scrutiny it faced during its original run. Initially slated to air in the third season, the episode was pulled due to concerns over its explicit content, particularly in light of the controversy sparked by Terry Rakolta's campaign against the show. "I'll See You in Court" involves the Bundy family and their neighbors, the Rhodes, inadvertently being videotaped while engaging in intimate activities in a motel room. The plot centers around Al and Peggy Bundy discovering that their intimate moments were secretly recorded by the motel. Upon realizing the motel's illicit activities, they decide to sue for invasion of privacy. Similarly, Steve and Marcy Rhodes find themselves in the same predicament. The episode's humor is derived from the embarrassment and awkwardness of the situation, laden with sexual innuendos and explicit dialogue that pushed the boundaries of what was considered acceptable on network television at the time. Given the backdrop of Terry Rakolta's campaign, which had successfully drawn attention to the show's explicit content, the network executives at Fox decided to delay airing "I'll See You in Court." Rakolta's efforts led to several advertisers pulling their support and sparked widespread debate about the appropriateness of the show's content. This environment of increased scrutiny made the explicit nature of I'll See You in Court particularly contentious. Fox, cautious of further backlash and potential financial implications, opted not to broadcast the episode during its original third season. This decision was likely influenced by a desire to avoid inflaming the already volatile situation and to mitigate any further damage to the network's reputation and advertiser relationships. The lost episode remained unaired in the United States for a few years. However, it did eventually see the light of day, albeit in a different context. I'll See You in Court was first broadcast in 2002 during a retrospective special celebrating the series. This international airing highlighted the differences in broadcasting standards and the varying levels of acceptability for explicit content across different periods. By this time, societal attitudes towards television content had evolved, and what was once deemed too explicit for network television had become more acceptable. The airing of the episode was part of a broader trend of networks and streaming platforms revisiting and re-releasing previously withheld or controversial content. I'll See You in Court exemplifies the boundary-pushing nature of Married with Children. The episode's storyline, involving secret videotaping and a legal battle over privacy invasion, was a bold narrative choice that reflected the show's continued willingness to tackle taboo subjects with humor. The explicit dialogue and situations that led to its initial shelving are indicative of the series' penchant for challenging the norms of its time. The delayed airing of I'll See You in Court serves as a testament to the cultural and regulatory challenges faced by Married with Children. The episode's eventual broadcast years later underscores the shifting landscape of television standards and the enduring legacy of the show's impact on American comedy. However, one thing was undeniable. The controversies surrounding Married with Children, especially during its early seasons, significantly boosted the show's popularity. When Terry Raccolta initiated her campaign against the show in 1989, her efforts to get it off the air inadvertently drew massive public attention to it. Raccolta's objections, which highlighted the show's explicit content and perceived moral degradation, became a talking point in media circles and among the general public. This controversy served as a catalyst for increasing the show's viewership, driven by curiosity and the public's desire to see what was causing such a stir. Raccolta's campaign, while intended to curb the show's influence, had the opposite effect. The extensive media coverage and public debates surrounding her efforts made Married with Children a hot topic. People who might not have otherwise tuned in started watching to understand the controversy, resulting in a significant ratings boost. The show's reputation as a rebellious and edgy sitcom resonated particularly well with younger audiences who were disillusioned with the more sanitized family portrayals on other networks. The Bundys' dysfunctional family dynamics and irreverent humor offered a refreshing alternative, making the show a cult hit. The controversy helped cement Married with Children as a cultural icon of the late 1980s and 1990s, appealing to viewers who appreciated its subversive take on family life. Initially, Raccolta's campaign had a tangible impact on the show's advertising revenue. Major brands, wary of the negative publicity and public backlash, pulled their advertisements from the show. This included household names like McDonald's and Coca-Cola, who had the idea of family at the center of their marketing strategies. The withdrawal of these sponsors was a significant financial hit for Fox and underscored the power of viewer advocacy groups in influencing corporate decisions. However, as the show's popularity continued to rise, driven by its growing fan base and high ratings, the landscape began to shift. Advertisers began to recognize the substantial and dedicated audience that Married with Children commanded. The demographics of the viewers, predominantly young adults, were particularly attractive to advertisers looking to target this key market segment. As the initial controversy began to fade and the show's viewership stabilized at high levels, many advertisers reassessed their positions. The undeniable popularity and cultural impact of the show made it a valuable platform for reaching a broad and engaged audience. Brands that had previously distanced themselves from the show started to return, recognizing the opportunity to leverage its large, loyal viewership for their marketing campaigns. Advertisers adopted more nuanced strategies, placing ads that would resonate with the show's audience while carefully managing their brand image. Some companies even created edgier advertisements that aligned with the show's irreverent tone, thereby appealing directly to its viewers. This strategic re-engagement not only helped advertisers capitalize on the show's success, but also highlighted the dynamic nature of the relationship between media content and corporate sponsorship. The controversies that surrounded Married with Children played a crucial role in elevating its profile and solidifying its place in television history. Terry Raccolta's campaign, while initially damaging in terms of advertiser support, ultimately contributed to the show's mystique and popularity. The media attention and public discourse it generated drew new viewers and reinforced the show's reputation as a bold and unconventional sitcom. As a result, many advertisers who had initially withdrawn their support eventually returned, recognizing the value of associating with a show that had become a cultural phenomenon. This dynamic showcases the complex interplay between controversy, viewership, and corporate strategy in the world of television. We hope this was helpful, and we would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Be sure to keep in touch for more videos.